Bowden Francis and the Blue Jays get beat up as they see their 5-game win streak come to an end. Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Long Ball. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Blue Jays writer Rob Longley. And Rob, we know the starting rotation has had its ups and downs so far this season, but maybe no other member of the rotation has had more downs than Bowden Francis. Now 17 home runs allowed on the season. That leads the major leagues. He allowed 17 homers all of last season and almost 2 times the amount of innings. So the long ball, pun intended, has definitely been an issue for Francis this year. But with not many options behind him, what can the Blue Jays really do at this point?
Man, Rob, they got to find something, and his struggles are an understatement. He's nothing like the pitcher we saw last September. And you're in a situation that's bordering on crisis when your number 4 starter is faring worse than your number 5 starter, which isn't really a starter. It's a bullpen day most weeks. And it's become a real liability in the rotation to the point where just this past week we've seen manager John Schneider and pitching coach Pete Walker separate number 4 and number 5 so that you're not having back-to-back days of those two guys. But I don't know what it is, whether it's confidence or it's location or if other teams are just onto him. But I mean, he's just leaving a lot of tempting pitches over the middle of the plate, and that's why they're hitting so many out of the ballpark, as you said, Rob. And there was some thought that maybe he had turned a corner because he had held the Texas Rangers scoreless over 5 innings, but I think there was way too much optimism built off of that one start because it was against the Texas Rangers, which are one of the poorest hitting teams in all of baseball. And sure enough, he comes out and faces a really good lineup in the Phillies, and they just feasted on him from the opening inning. 7 runs. How about that? You go down to the Rogers Center. How about the poor fan base? Go down there, 30,000 strong, riding a 5-game win streak. Beautiful night. Roof is open. It finally feels like summer in Toronto. Then 10 minutes into the game, it may as well be game over. And we've seen too many of those kind of starts from Bowden Francis. In terms of options, I mean, they're still hopeful that Max Scherzer is going to get there, and he's inching closer, but he's still a few weeks away at best. And the other one is Spencer Turnbull, the guy they picked up off the waiver wire a little while ago, and he's been pitching in minor league games. But you have to see him in action against major league hitters before you get an indication of what he's going to be, and at best he would be a sort of a number 5 starter anyway. But that's filling that slot. Essentially the Blue Jays rotation has two slots to fill right now. It isn't pretty.
Yeah, definitely is not. And maybe if there's one guy that has definitely pulled his weight so far, it's Eric Lauer, who showed really again in relief for the Blue Jays against the Phillies in the opener. A guy we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and I asked you, were you buying his starts of the season? That's Addison Barger. And since we've had that conversation, Rob has done nothing to really prove that point wrong. 4 straight games now with a home run. He's hit. He's really the talk of the town right now. Maybe not since Davis Schneider when he first came up. Has there been a Blue Jays prospect that has garnered this much hype? We know last year wasn't the greatest, go for Barger, but since he's come up this year has done nothing but just really show that he is a major league player. What can you say about the run that he is on right now?
Yeah, it's certainly exciting for the fan base to watch what he's doing, and we have to mute the excitement a little bit because, as you mentioned, Rob, the sample size is still pretty small. But when you hit them out in 4 consecutive games, I mean, that's showing something. But to me, the biggest thing that I'm noticing about him that may suggest that it is sustainable is the confidence and, more importantly, the comfort that he's showing at the plate. I think last year there was an unease when he came up, and that's a pretty big transition when you go from having success against AAA pitchers to having to face major league pitchers. That's one of the biggest adjustments that we see by any player moving up, and the pitchers had the upper hand on him last year, and he didn't have the confidence or the ability to adjust. Now he seems so comfortable at the plate, and when you have a little bit of success like he's had, you tend to feed off of it. I think he's much more familiar with what big league pitchers are trying to do to him, and that's why what he did, or the opportunity that he had last year, while not successful, it served a purpose because it gave him an indication of how big a jump it is to go from hitting in AAA to hitting in the majors. So he's shown some signs there, and if he can maintain that confidence. And to me, the big test will be the next set of adjustments, because as we know in the major leagues, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher, video shows everything, and opposing teams find a way to attack you once you've had some success. So pretty soon he's going to get a different sort of arsenal of pitches thrown his way, and it'll be how he, his ability to adapt to that, and if he can continue to have some success, look out. And a column I wrote earlier in the week, one of the things that I suggested that the team needs to have in order to be a playoff contender is to have sort of a mystery bat step up. Obviously, they're still going to need Santander to step up at some point when he gets off the IL. They're going to need Vlad to be more productive, but they're going to need Bo to continue to hit. But they're going to need somebody else to come up there and offer a power bat and a consistent power bat. And the signs that we've seen lately, Addison Barger could be that guy.
Yeah, well, if this team wants to hit home runs and the fans want to see more of that, there's one guy doing it in spades right now with Addison Barger. But like you said, we'll see how the league adjusts to him and how he adjusts back. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. For Rob Longley, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.